In the previous video, we saw how we can download, install Dreamweaver. In this video, we're gonna start to open the software. We're gonna start to know a little better what it's about, what the interface, the main commands, the basics. So we're gonna start little by little. We're gonna start real simple with really basic concepts, and then we're gonna increase the level of difficulty lesson by lesson. So this is for all of you who didn't ever open up any software about web design. And for those of you who are a little bit more expert, you probably want to jump ahead in the video, but also in the lessons. So as any other video course, we're going to start by the basics. So this is the kind of introductions or splash screen that's going to happen the first time you're going to open up the software after you install it. And so it's just going to ask you if you ever used Dreamweaver previously. So let's say that no, we didn't have a use Dreamweaver. We are perfectly new. So I'm going to click here. No, I'm new. So you can choose developer workspace. Let me just go back. Or you can use the standard workspace. Now I'm going to go for the standard. I'm going to keep it as standard as it possible for those of you, again, who are not so expert. But later, probably when you start to discover all the various languages and coding languages and programming, etc., maybe you want to discover more and become a programmer. This is more like video course about web design rather than programming. Now you can choose a color for the interface. You can see you have many. I'm just gonna stick with the default also here, but if you want, you can get darker and brighter. Let's say I want to use this, and you can now start. So do you want to start with an existing folder that you already have? Probably not, because if you are a complete beginner, you don't have anything. You can start by watching tutorials. So there are also videos given by Adobe about Dreamweaver, or we can start with a sample file. So let's go with this for now. And there you go. That was the home page, and it already created a web page for us. So we can see this is called now Untiled, and it already has like the most important things that we usually use in a HTML page, which is of course the HTML language, but also we have a link to a CSS file and a JavaScript code file. So we have this couple of extra files. So I'm going to explain everything, of course, little by little with more precision later. I just want to have this quick look at the interface. I just want to show you how everything works so far, and then we're gonna go like more into details later on. So the interface of Dreamweaver looks pretty similar to other Adobe software. Up here we have the drop-down menus where we can do all the operations, and of course in the file menu, which is the first, we have the basic ones like opening, closing, saving, exporting, importing, etc., etc. Also some a little bit more advanced like validate, and this is going to be like at the end of your work, and other a little bit more advanced like page properties, but we're going to get into this later. Just want to show you the drop-down menus are up here, and also you have a set of shortcut keys on the right side of each menu. So if you want to be faster, if you want to work more optimized, you need to remember this so that you can just quickly recall the or call the command and activate the action without actually going here every time on the menu or in other parts of the interface. Now I want to close this just to show you what's going to happen. And this is what you're going to see every time you're going to open up the software again. So not the first time, but any other time. And this is the home page right here. So you can always go back here by closing all the other projects that are open, all the other pages, like I just closed the Untiled right now. And here you have possibility to build a new website from here. So you can do create new, and we're gonna get back into this also. You can quick start, which is the possibility to use the basics here, like basic HTML document or basic CSS or basic Bootstrap and so on. You can use the templates, starter templates, if you want to study them a little bit and see how like a good website structure is done and how it's organized, etc., etc. You can create a new one. Again, that's the same of the quick start. And we can use open if we already have some pages, some website, and you just want to retrieve your work. Now, before we get back into the interface of Dreamweaver, I want to show you quickly something you can do in Creative Cloud. Now, probably you will use English. I'm going to use English for this video course because it's going to be like the standard and everyone can understand. But if you want to use Dreamweaver in your own language, for example, you can see here my Creative Cloud is in Italian because that's my first language. So once you download it and install it Creative Cloud to manage all your apps, you can see we already saw that we can install it from here. But what if you want to change language? Now, in that case, you need to go up here in the preference settings of your Adobe account and select preferences and go into app. So this is where you find all the apps that you already installed, and here you can choose the preset installation language. This is right now in English. If you click here, you can choose any language you want. So we're going to do the course in English, but again, later on, perhaps you want to change it into your own language so you understand better, perhaps, and you can work faster and understand everything. So let's go back here and let's see how the interface is composed. So we still see this toolbar on the left side. Now this toolbar here is for many purposes. You can see here to open documents, to manage your files, upload, download from local to remote. You have the live views options if you are using some more advanced code, and you have inspection. Well, differently from other software, this is not like mandatory at the beginning. So you can also click on these three dots and customize this furthermore. But as I was saying, this is not like Photoshop where you have all the tools and you need to use the vertical toolbar on the left unless you prefer to use the menus. But here in Dreamweaver, you don't really need to do this. It's not like primary. We can consider this as a secondary toolbar, which we can use later on. But I'm going to keep it there to, again, stay with the default interface. I don't want to change anything. Now, on the right side instead, we have the panels. Now, these are pretty important. The first one is going to help you to manage the files related to your website, and you can create new websites from here and manage like many different websites at the same time. CC libraries are to get stuff from other application by Adobe. Insert, CSS designer, we will see this later. This is really important to define a style of your a website and also to insert extra elements, multimedia elements, etc., etc. Now we cannot see the rest here because we need a project open. So let's go for this like basic single page, and now we can see that something is appearing in here. So we have something here in insert, we have here in CSS designer, we have something down here in the document object model or DOM panel, etc., etc. So these panels on the right side, they are definitely really, really important. So keep an eye on them. As you can see, I can also modify the aspect of the interface. I can make some panels bigger, some others smaller, and basically I can rearrange everything. So you can create your own interface in a way by closing, opening stuff here. So let's say that I don't want to see this. I can click on these three dots. From here, usually you have extra options. So I'm going to just close and I get rid of that particular panel. Now, in the center of the screen right here, we have basically the main area where you're going to work most of the time, which is right now split into two. So on the top part, we have a live preview of what our website and our pages will be. On the downside here on the bottom, we have the actual HTML code or the coding part. So this is where you can start to work with the language, write lines of code, and etc., etc. Up here, you have also the possibility to go only with the code, or you can split again, and you can also change here from the live and the sign. So depending on what you're doing, you can switch between here and here. Now, if you want to see actual how the behavior of your website, how it's working, how it's behaving interactively, you need to choose live. Otherwise, you can stay in the other topologies. Now, this is the what you see is what you get principle. So what you see here is what you're gonna actually get in the final output of your website when you're gonna publish it. So you can also do a preview. If you go down here, you have some extra stuff like changing the dimension here in various formats. You can also do that by clicking and dragging this, so you can see how if your website is also responsive and is going to adapt to the various resolution, which you can see is doing right now. And this is kind of the standard right now. We don't really use fixed layout anymore. Everything will adapt to various devices. But again, also in this, we're gonna discover more later. These are, by the way, the media queries visualization up here, which will let you adapt your website. So down here you have the browser lists that are installed in your computer. So I can choose one of these to do a preview. So this one here, I use this a lot. This is for previewing what is going to happen in my website. But what I need to do in order to do a test is I need to save this document, which is now untitled 2. Let's call this like lesson 01 and save. So we just saved our first HTML page, and now the browser opened up. You can also change the language of your browser, and this is what we are seeing. So this is what our actual website will look like, and this is the scroll, the navigation, vertical navigation scroll bar. So you can click here and drag, or you can scroll by just scrolling the mouse wheel. And so every time you want to run a quick view of what your website is going to look like, just do a preview. But you can see it's really similar to what we are seeing here in the live preview. Now, if you want to see your file in the folder, you can see it's just a simple file. And if you click and select, you can see here the preview without the styling with the CSS and any. So this is like bare bone HTML content. And you can see it's just a file. So if you right click, you can also see the various properties like the details, and the format is going to be HTML, which means hypertext markup language. We're going to discover more about that. But this is as simple as saving a standard file. But it's better to configure an entire site folder, but we're going to see this later. So into the file menu, we can open up recent documents. Now we have our lesson 1. We can close, and we're back in the home page. So let's go to file and go to open. So I can navigate into the folder where I saved my file, and I can open it up from here. And I can also go here and do a real-time preview using my browser that I have installed, and other stuff that we're gonna see later. I can also exit the entire application. Now, another drop-down menu that you may want to use since the beginning, because it concerns the interface, is the window menu. So here you can see what are the panels that are visualizing right now. So we can see we have the DOM, we have files, and if you want to open up some of these, so let's get back the CC libraries, of course, that we just closed. So I'm going to click here, and there you go. So we have the libraries back again in the original position. And then we have other panels that we can open up. Now we can also hide the panels, F4. We can choose which toolbars we want to see. Now we have documents. Let's make it standard, but I think this is less usable than the other. So I can also go here, and from here you can go back to the standard. You can reset the standard. So every time you think you messed up something, you can always retrieve, and you can also create your new workspace. So let's assume that I just start to move things around here, make some mess. So you can click and drag and dock this whatever you want. You can create your customized interface. You can use multiple screen. Now I'm gonna keep the standard interface, but sooner or later you may wanna, customize everything here. So let's say that this is my configuration. So in this case, I'm gonna go here and do a new workspace. So I'm gonna click, I'm gonna call this JBD UI, and I'm gonna say okay. So every time I want to use this interface, you can see now it's showing up right here. So I can just go back to the standard, or I can go back to my interface. And if I change this again, but I want to retrieve it, I can go here and do reset. So from here, you can always go back to the actual standards. Now just the middle part here has changed, but this is because I didn't expand the window here of the lesson. So just click and drag it and dock it in the black space. So you can save the changes by doing save current, or you can also go manage workspace, and we can see here I can delete, I can rename, etc., etc. So from here, basically, you can customize the user interface and how you want to work in Dreamweaver. And of course, you can customize the sizes of the various panels, the position, etc., etc. Just play around. Remember that anytime you can reset, so don't worry about it. And another one that I want to show you, let me reset here the standard, is, and also again, I can save the current to override. So I'll drop the menu that I want to show you is going to be the view, because here also you can change code, split, and you can also change the split mode and split it vertically instead of horizontally. So depending on your needs, perhaps you're working on a web app or a smartphone app. So for a smartphone app, I probably want to go here into something more vertical. And if I use a web app, I'm probably going to go in a more horizontal mode. So you can always go back here and change also this really important part of the beginning of your work. So I think that it will be good enough for this first introductory video. I guess now you understand better the interface and the various parts. We're gonna get back to all these things in the following lessons. So if you enjoyed this video, you want to stay updated, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support us, thank us, you can do it by joining as a supporter in the channel. And also we created a lot of other video guides, video courses about graphic design, other Adobe software. If you're looking for something specific, use the search bar in the channel, or just go in the home page of the channel and look for something that you may like. So this will be all. We're going to continue in the next lesson, so see you in the next one.